G'day, guys. Statchat Sports here. I'm TB and I'm here with Steve. How you, mate?
You going, mate? How are you?
Not too bad. We're here with our weekly EPL review, preview, team of the week, and we'll touch on a bit of Champions League action today. How do you see the round playing out this week, Steve?
There was a couple of interesting results. A few, well, no, not really any upsets, I'd say, but there was definitely some surprising results. We didn't couple we picked, a couple we didn't. The usual over here. Sometimes we get them completely wrong.
But the track record isn't great.
It's not really. It's not, but you get that.
Yeah, that's it.
But it was action packed. There's plenty of action on both ends of the table. So yeah, it was a good week overall for Premier League, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh, let's jump straight into the review. First game of the round. We'll look at Man United Southampton. How'd you say that one?
United once again haven't quite bathed themselves in glory, dropping more points against a side that they probably shouldn't.
Yeah,
they certainly weren't at their best again. I'd say as a United supporter, the less, well, not me myself, but speaking to United supporters, the less said about it, the best. Because they're all in the same sort of position as supporters there. They're not quite sure which direction their club's going in. As a Liverpool fan, I'm enjoying it.
Of course.
But I understand their pain. I certainly understand their pain because we're sort of there sort of 6 or 7 years ago. So, but I mean, back to the game. Credit to Southampton. They've been well. They've played well for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So it's a credit to them to get another point against a big six club. So props to them. United poor to degrees. You would expect them to win that game, even at Old Trafford. So yeah. But
of course.
Yeah, credit to Southampton, of course.
Yeah, it's a wonder whether Rangnick's lost the dressing room. Just hearing reports of unrest, and it's just they're not connecting. Rangnick just seems he doesn't have the buy-in of the squad, and that's kind of the way it looks personally. I mean, one player who seems to have had a bit of an uptick in form is Jadon Sancho. He's starting to look a bit better. But the squad as a whole, I mean, the Maguire's continues to be that weak link. The way he got turned on the wing there, that is about a mile away with that attempted little foot in there.
Mate, he's created some no look defending.
Oh mate, that was atrocious. He was in another area code trying to steal that ball there, but look, the sooner they clean that up, the better. I think that's the only way they're really going to stop leaking points. Is they really can't shut the gate on these teams.
Do they get rid of him completely? Because he's your marquee defender, besides Varane. But Varane didn't cost you 80 million like Maguire did. You can't really just get rid of a player like that.
I wonder if the captaincy's been a bit of a burden for him. Maybe losing the captaincy helps him, takes a bit of the weight off his shoulders, possibly. I mean, he was good at Leicester. He wasn't 80 million good, but yeah, he was still a very good defender there. So I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's something they've really got to rectify.
Definitely.
Yep. Moving on, Brentford Crystal Palace. A nil or stalemate was a pretty drab game. A couple of dubious calls from the referee, I'd say. A couple of penalty calls ignored. One in particular, I'm not sure if you've seen, but was a bit the handball from the throw-in. That was
I must have missed that one because I can't.
Okay.
Recall seeing it.
That was essentially lobbed in from the byline, and Crystal Palace defender stuck his hand up. It was called a foul, I think. the play was kind of chalked off. But yeah, it was a weird one because to me it looked like his hand had no business being there. Brentford were unlucky in my opinion, but yeah, 0-0 game. There's really not much to speak of apart from half chances.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of looking at the stats now. Pretty even in terms of possession. Not a whole lot of shots. It just looks like one of those games where not a lot really happened. A kind of a bit of a midfield battle. Nothing a whole lot happening either end of the pitch. So
just seem to cancel each other out.
Yeah, I mean, a point Brentford will certainly take given their form recently.
Yeah. I think that's their first points in 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, you could be right.
Yeah.
I think they were on about a five game losing spree. So
to
claim a point there, they'll 100% take. Crystal Palace might feel like they should have got more out of the game.
Yeah,
they are a team in better form at least anyway. So point's a point at the end of the day.
That's it. Everton Leeds. This is the one we really didn't see coming. I think we'd heaped a bit of pressure on Everton, saying they've really got to sort their game out, figure it out, or it's going to be too late. And looks like they did. It's 3-0 win to Everton. How'd you see that?
I mean, they deserved all the pressure put on them that they got. They've been getting because they've been poor.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. And in the context of ladder position, this game was massive for both sides. So for Everton to win it is huge. I believe they're still behind Leeds. They are by 1 point, but the game's in hand there. So they've closed. They've bridged that gap that was there, which is massive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from what it seemed like. The performance was there for Everton.
Yeah, definitely.
Players all over the park had standout games. Look at Anthony Gordon, who had a great game. Donny van der Beek in his start, I believe, in his first start, I believe he started. He did.
Yeah, he did.
So he put up some incredible numbers. We'll touch on him later, I'm sure. But you look at just the performances all around the park, and it's what was lacking in the last few weeks for Everton. So
yeah,
something's
definitely
ticked in that changing room.
Yep.
Then that's the perfect time for it to happen for them. They probably couldn't have asked for a better result in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Rodrigo, very unlucky to not bag a goal in that game. 2 hit the crossbar twice there. 2 absolute stunning goals if they'd gone in. But Everton may have been lucky to walk away with a clean sheet. Not lucky for the win. They were good value, but lucky to walk away with a clean sheet, in my opinion. Brighton, Watford up next. Brighton with the 2-0 win at Vicarage Road. How'd you see that?
Same sort of deal there. It looks like the deserved team won that one.
Mm-hmm.
Brighton dominated them all over the park in terms of possession, shots on goal, touches of the football, passes, everything. They ran rings around them. 2-0 is probably fair at the end of the day. You don't look at Brighton and see them as an incredibly high scoring side anyway. So, I mean, I'm sure Brighton know that. They'll take the win's a win and they'll take it.
Yep.
But Watford, it continues to leave them in a bad situation that only seems to be getting worse for them. So, I mean, they'll look forward to the next one. They have to.
Yeah,
they need to start putting some points on the board. Otherwise, they're definitely staring at relegation.
Yeah, they're that one team that I think Newcastle and Norwich put some distance, put some points on the board. Burnley aren't playing the worst football, but Watford, they're a team that really need to figure it out, because I don't think at any point in this season have they looked like they're going to drag themselves or find that fight to really get themselves out of the situation that they're in.
Yeah, agreed.
Moving on to Sunday's games, Manchester City, Norwich. It's a 4-0 win for them at Carrow Road. It's standard City, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
We expected City to win this one even off the back of Norwich's good form recently.
Yeah.
No one really realistically would have tipped them to win that game. So it's a fair result, and it's one that probably Norwich was expecting. You don't expect to beat champions. So and free from Sterling. That's just a high individual performance out of him. So yeah, again, same as Watford, Norwich will have to move on. They're only 2 points better off than Watford, but they probably are playing the better football at the moment, so they'll look forward to the next game and have to move on from that. And City, it'll be just another win in the belt for them. They extended the lead at the top of the table for a day or so before Liverpool played, so they did their job and they moved on as well.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, no, City. I mean, they're just steamrolling teams now. I mean, we'll touch on the Champions League later, but yeah, another very composed performance there. So, I mean, they can't do no wrong at the moment.
No, not really.
Next up, we've got Liverpool Burnley. The boys got it done. Burnley put up a hell of a fight. How'd you see that?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't impressed with what I saw out of Liverpool.
No.
On the other end of the spectrum, you can say I was impressed with the fight that Burnley put up. I mean, take possession out of it, Liverpool will always have a vast majority of the possession against most sides. The shots and in particularly the shots, I suppose that's what wins you games. They're about on par. Liverpool were poor in that aspect, and watching the game, they were just sloppy in midfield.
Yeah,
really poor passages of play, giving the ball away, getting caught on the counter. That's the style of play that Burnley are going to have to play against a side like Liverpool. But they got the job done. They took the 1-0, but it was definitely not the performance we're used to seeing from Liverpool. And that's the kind of games where maybe a few years ago they would either lose or draw that game.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances at the top of the table, they had to win. They found a way to win, which is credit to them. But props to Burnley. I mean, it means nothing at the end of the day. They lost, but they played a hell of a game, really.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like you said, years gone by, that's 2 points dropped. So I think just for them to be rolling on, I think is that 4 wins on the trot, maybe 4 or 5 wins on the trot in the league for Liverpool. So I mean, the fortunes are turning. Keeping pace with City, they'll walk away and look to next week. I think look to Norwich, and
they can't afford to drop any points. Otherwise, it's City may as well take it. You may as well give them the trophy.
I think it's got to be full points from here, and that's just to have a sniff.
Yeah,
otherwise,
exactly.
Yeah, you can kiss it goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up we had Newcastle Villa. Probably another result we didn't see happening.
No, but another win for the Newcastle.
My adopted second team, I'll call it. Look, I'm not upset at all. Oh, they keep rolling on. They just, Eddie Howe's got this new squad really purring at the moment. Maybe not purring, but producing results. Another Trippier free kick goal. Mm-hmm. It's he's making a bit of a habit of that lately. That's good to see. Yep. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, from what I saw, it was a bit of a stalemate really for both sides. Not a whole lot of chances created for both sides, so it just came down to who sort of took their chances. And Trippier did. It was a good free kick.
Kind of split the wall, didn't it?
Yeah, a little deflection, which might have helped.
I think it did.
Yeah. There was plenty of power behind it, so nothing to say that wouldn't have gone in anyway. But
Mm.
Newcastle is certainly putting. I think is that 3? I think that was 3 wins in a row now.
Think so. Oh, yeah.
From memory.
Yeah, I'm not too
and
sure, but yeah.
if so, they've only got 4 wins in the whole season, and 3 of them have come in the last 3 games. So they've certainly picked the right time to start picking up some points. It's dragged them out the relegation zone, and it's bridged a good 4-point gap there. So, and against, I think that might be Steven Gerrard's first defeat as Aston Villa
It would be
against
too.
a team outside of probably the top 4.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he'll be disappointed there. There was they could have had the equaliser. I don't know if you saw that. Ollie Watkins offside was one of those ones given offside by a toenail's length.
Yeah. They're the kind of goals you'd rather see go in and count, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. They're the type of ones that you've almost got to give benefit of the doubt to the attacker.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and at the end of the day, they couldn't really put anything else together. So maybe a 1-0 win for Newcastle was deserved for them. So
it was a just result. Yeah, I'd tend to agree with that. Yep. Next up, Wolves Spurs. The problems for Spurs just keep carrying on. Conte just can't get that squad sorted. I mean, the January additions, Betancourt and I'm not sure if Betancourt played, but I know Kulusevski was on at some point. Not sure if he started.
Betancourt started the game, and Kulusevski came on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's just not clicking. And Wolves just keep continuing their good run. They're really looking to cement a place in the top half of the table.
They are, yeah. I mean, I'll control myself this time when it comes to Spurs.
Please.
But yeah, look, you're 100% correct. I agree 100% with what you're saying. Tottenham, they're not clicking as a side at the moment, and those 2 Wolves goals looked like something that was pulled straight out of FIFA.
Yeah,
the amount of just ricochets and almost loose heads in the box from the Spurs defenders that are just like, they're just sort of looking around as if they don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
So the crossbar was hit from Wolves as well. Could have been 3. That would have been an absolute screamer.
Yeah.
So, but look, I mean, the chances were there for Tottenham. Take nothing away from that. It's only because of the brilliance of Jose Sarr that probably the clean sheet was kept, and that Wolves did end up walking away with that win. But it's not looking great for Tottenham if they want to try and make a push for top 4. Look, I don't think that they're certainly not out of it.
No,
but they need to start putting some points on the board. Yeah,
and City coming up next week. It's going to be a hard ask.
No, it's a tough ask. 100%.
Yeah, that's it. We did have one more game. 2 more games. We had Leicester, West Ham. That was the 2-2 draw there. How'd you say that?
Yeah, if you're Leicester, you've probably got to look at that game a bit disappointed and see that as 2 points dropped rather than 1 point gained.
Absolutely.
Simply because of the fact that right at the end, the Craig Dawson equaliser went in. And in the balance of things, again, another one of those games where not a whole lot of chances was created. Leicester scored their 2 only shots on target.
Yeah,
they just couldn't quite see it out to the end. And on West Ham's side of it, they're the opposite. They'll obviously see it as a point gained because they clinched it right at the end. But it's definitely not the result that they would have been looking for to try and stay in that top 4.
Yeah,
especially because we'll touch on it shortly. United have played their catch-up game now, and that was a massively important game for them to stay in the top 4.
Yeah. That top 4 seems to be it's a pretty. There's a lot of rotation through that 4th spot at the moment. It just seems like teams just don't want it. I mean, they do, but they just can't stay there. I mean, as soon as they get there, drop points, someone else, next man up, let's go. It's like it's a merry-go-round at the moment.
Yeah.
But Yeah, no, Manchester United were good value for that, and West Ham will be very disappointed. I mean, 2 shots on goal, and you let both of them in, giving up penalty. It's and then I mean, just to scrape through with a late equaliser. If you're a top 4 aspirant, you need more than that. So it's. I think it was probably on the balance of play. I thought Leicester weren't too bad. They've been better, obviously, than they have been in the recent past. So it was good to see them get a point out of that, in my opinion.
Yeah. They just need a little bit more from a couple of their key players to step up. The likes of Maddison, watching the highlights from what I saw, it just doesn't. He's the type of player that when Vardy's not there, which of course he's not, you need him to step up in a big way. He's pivotal for them. He's creative. He can score goals. But I mean, he had a couple of chances himself. One in particular, a half volley inside the box, and I'm pretty sure he sent it outside the stadium.
Yeah,
and it's
I did say that one actually. Yeah,
it's not really what you're accustomed to seeing from a player like from Maddison.
No, not at all. It's just you
get a few of those players clicking again, and I'm sure that they'll pick right back up, but it heavily relies on those players.
Yeah. When your number one striker goes down, your goal scoring midfielders become ultra important. And like you said, guys like Maddison. I mean, Tielemans got the penalty, but they have hardly been clicking in his absence. So they're going to need more of that to push themselves into the top half of the table. I believe they're still in the bottom half after that win.
They are, they're sitting 11th at the moment. So
not where they want to be.
Not where they want to be at all. No.
And we have one more game which I don't think we previewed. Not yesterday, last week. It would be United Brighton, which happened this morning. It was a fairly balanced game up until the red card, which Brighton could have no qualms about. That was pretty cut and dry red card. Ronaldo with a nice finish. How do you say that?
Yeah, excuse me. I agree with what you said. It's pretty even game, really. I mean, a couple of massive saves from De Gea in the first half probably kept them in the game, really. It quite easily could have been out of their reach before halftime, and it wasn't until that red card, which you can't, like you said, can't argue against it. I don't even know why the referee brought a yellow card out of his in the first place and why it had to go to VAR. That's clear and obvious for me. But that red card turned the tie of that game. I mean, United had scored prior to that anyway, but Brighton was certainly still in the game. Going down to 10 men against United at Old Trafford pays you no favours. So, that definitely didn't help their cause, and that helped United breeze to a 2-0 win. Really looks comfortable, but
was far from
it. Of things, it probably was. Yeah, exactly. It was far from it, but that win puts them into 4th. That was their catch-up game. They've played the same amount of games as West Ham now, which is why that West Ham game was so important for them. So but like we've said already, teams pick up 4th and then they just can't hold on to it.
Just so to lose it.
Yeah, but it's United's there. It's United's now. They've got it, so they've just got to take and run with it and keep it there, basically.
Yep. No, agreed.
Easier said than done, I suppose. It is United at the end of the day.
Yeah, they've got probably more problems than a lot of the other teams sort of gunning for that 4th position. They just seem to be very topsy-turvy with their form. So, it's a lot of questions to be asked there. So that concludes the review for this match week. Getting into our team of the week, it was a few positions personally I found were quite easy to pick, but there were a couple of positions which may I wouldn't say they're not controversial, but there's some different picks we've definitely got between us. Starting from the back, who was your goalkeeper?
My goalkeeper was Allison.
Yep.
I had Jose Sarr in there, only changed it at the last minute. You can make an argument for both.
Yep.
They both had a real good game in terms of saves. For Allison, he faced 5 shots on target from Burnley, making 5 saves. Obviously kept the clean sheet and was pivotal in it as well. And I think based on the fact of the caliber of that game and the importance of it as well, is probably why he nudges just a little bit ahead of Jose Sarr for me.
Yep.
But I know you didn't choose Allison.
No, I've gone the complete reverse of you. I had Allison. Huge performance. Probably the key. Voted player of the match was the key, really, to Liverpool hanging on there. And no, I've gone Jose Sarr. I think it was seven saves for the.
I think
it was 7 or 8 for the clean sheet there against Spurs. And I'd class that as an important game too for them. 2 top 4 aspirants. It was an away win too. He was huge. I mean, the Spurs had plenty of chances there, but just unable to finish. As a combination of their inability and their bad finishing, and Jose Sarr's brilliance really got Wolves the points there. So yeah,
let me ask you this: we've had Jose Sarr in a team of the week side twice now.
Yep.
He made 9, I think it was 9 saves in the first match week that we covered, where he was in our team of the week. He's made 7 here.
Mm-hmm.
He's making a bit of a name for himself. We've spoken about how we're fans of Wolves' defence. It's quite solid. He's quite clearly a key point in that.
Yeah.
Where would you rank Jose Sarr in probably, like, let's say, the top 5 goalkeepers in the Premier League? Because he has to be up there. He's got to be in the discussion.
Yeah.
At least for this season anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'd probably go in De Gea is up there. Allison's up there. I mean, City just keep rolling with clean sheets, so Ederson's probably got to be up there. Just he's definitely. I think he's probably the next man up after that.
Yeah.
I'd probably put him in 4th. I mean, Eduard Mendy has also been very good this season.
Yeah, true, actually.
Look, he definitely cracks that top 5. I'm not sure if he gets 4th or 5th there, but he's definitely in the top 5 keepers in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I would put him in the top 5. It's difficult to pinpoint a position for him inside the top 5, but the performances speak for themselves. The guys, he's clearly a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, you can throw a blanket over most of those guys in that discussion, I think. Jose Sarr's probably his volume of shots faced would definitely be a lot more.
Yeah.
So that's got to count for a lot. He definitely wouldn't face as many as Ederson does. Not as many as Allison. Probably not as many as any of those guys in that discussion. So, yeah, on that metric, he's right up there. He has to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Looking into our backline. So we discussed this before the pod, and we did see that we've got we do have 3 common players. We've opted for 2 right backs due to I'd say a lack of star left backs this match week.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got Kieran Trippier. We've both opted for Adam Webster, the Brighton centre back. I opted for our other centre back. I opted for Dan Burn. I think it's pretty pivotal to Newcastle keeping the clean sheet at Villa. And yeah, I mean, it's just so important for them to be keeping clean sheets against teams like Villa, who are sort of in those upper reaches in the table. Those 3 points are invaluable. So that's kind of why I picked him there. Who was your pick for the other centre back?
My other centre back, the second centre back was a tough spot to fill, definitely. There's a couple that you could have made arguments for, but I just went Ruben Diaz in the end, probably just an easy pick, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
He claimed himself an assist. You don't see many centre backs claiming assists, and he obviously got a clean sheet. But City's win wouldn't have been down to Diaz's performance.
No.
So in hindsight, I probably could have picked someone a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I was tossing up between 3 or 4, and I really couldn't make my mind up. So I just went with Diaz in the end.
Yep. No, I like it. And then closing out as our other right back, we both had Seamus Coleman. It was a pretty well taken goal. I mean, it wasn't clinical by any means, but time and place, and he was there, and it really, in my opinion, really set the tone for Everton to go on and win that game against Leeds.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about a captain's performance. He gets to get the first goal to get your team on the running to a real important 3 points. He's a no-brainer for me to go in there.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Moving into the midfield, we both chose Fabinho and Donny van de Beek for their individual exploits. But our one difference, I'll cover them first. Fabinho with the goal against Liverpool was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's starting to pick up a couple of goals. I believe he's actually got more goals in 2022 than a couple of big names, one including Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, and that's not
there are a few. No, there are a couple of penalties in there, but I mean that aside, his role in the team is not to score goals; it's to stop them, and so you've got to give him credit for the assist. For the clean sheet as well.
Yep.
So you give him a goal, you give him a clean sheet, and really he saved face for Liverpool.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It didn't really look like you could rely on too many other players in that side to pull out a moment and get a goal. So for him to step up and take the goal how he did, he's a big reason as to why, for obvious reasons, of course, but he's a big reason as to why Liverpool ended up winning that game.
Yep, agreed. Donny van de Beek, pretty instrumental in the 3-0 win.
Yeah, you got to love this. You really do. We've spoke about him before. He just didn't get the chances at United.
Yeah.
So he's got the move away from there. And in his first start, he really, really put on a stellar performance. Not in terms of, I suppose, no, there was obviously no goals. He didn't get any assists or anything like that, but he was a pivotal part of their midfield.
Yeah.
I've got some stats. I'll just quickly run through them. He had an 89.5% pass accuracy. He had 51 touches of the ball, 10 ball recoveries. He won 7 duels.
Yeah.
He had 6 possessions, 1 in the middle of the park, which was the most in that game. 4 tackles made, which was equal most. 3 aerial duels won, which was equal the most. 1 interception and 1 chance created. From a player that hasn't played a lot of football, to come in and do that for a new team in your first start, that's pretty special.
3 aerial duels for a player of his stature. That's not something I would have expected to read on his stat line.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, you make a good point.
He's not exactly the most, the biggest guy on the pitch there, but yeah, no, fair play. The first goal, Seamus Coleman's goal, he did have watching the highlights, he did have quite a big part to play in that. He put the ball in, sort of bounced around, and obviously Coleman put it in. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say unlucky not to get the assist, but definitely was key to that chain there. Moving on to our other midfield spot. Who did you have as your third midfielder?
I went with Donny van der Beek's teammate. He was listed as a midfielder on the Premier League website because of the formation that Everton played, but I went Anthony Gordon.
Yep.
The young lad got himself a goal and an assist. It's his third goal of the season and his second assist. Not huge numbers, but we're talking a young guy who's really sort of just broken into the first team and been able to hold on to it this season.
Mm-hmm.
So props to him. And again, we talked about the importance of that game. So goal and an assist in a game of that stature is big for such a young player, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Personally, I thought Leander Dendoncker was pretty good in that Wolves win, the 2-0 win. Bagged himself the Wolves' second goal. And really, sort of really dictated that midfield there for them. So he earns the third nomination in my midfield. We again matched up with two attackers. Two of them will pretty much, I think, they nominate themselves. Raheem Sterling and Jared Bowen. Raheem Sterling for his hat-trick, Jared Bowen for his goal and assist. Bowen unlucky to not to get his team over the line, but Sterling obviously in a very comprehensive win for City. How did you see their games respectively?
Yeah, look, I mean, Sterling speaks for itself. It's a hat-trick and that's his 10th of those three. Bring his total up to 10 for the season, which equals his total from last season, which you could probably argue was probably a poor season for him considering the numbers he put up the two seasons prior. So, look, I mean, Raheem Sterling was one of the players sort of talked around in the summer about potentially moving on. Same as Bernardo Silva. They both obviously have decided to stay, and they've both become key players in City's team for this season.
Yep.
The lack of a standout number 9. Talking about 10 goals from an individual player in Raheem Sterling. I don't know if he actually played down the middle or if he played on his natural wing. They always seem to shift whoever front three they have anyway, but that's big for them anyway. So that speaks for itself, and obviously a good performance from him, Jared Bowen. His 8th goal and 8th assist to the season. Like you said, unlucky not to get his team over the line. His goal was a tidy finish, must admit, and the assist from the corner. You can't complain. He can't. What much more could he do?
Yeah,
to help his team get the 3 points. But he did his part. So without him, they would have lost.
Yeah, without him, who knows where? I mean, West Ham aren't a bad side, but who knows? They wouldn't be hitting the heights that they are. And he's been so consistent all season long. The fact he's contributing with equal goals and assists, he looks set to pass that 10 and 10 mark for the season, which is generally a very good indication of where you're at.
I certainly wouldn't put it past him. Definitely.
I mean, 2 and 2 for the rest of the season. You'd think he gets it at this point in the vein of form that he's in, rich vein of form. It's it looks like a no-brainer at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Who was your final pick in our forward line?
My final pick was Neil Maupay, not for his performance against United, but for the win against Watford. I've just spoken about it, but I've forgotten about it now. It is Watford. Okay. So yeah, he got himself a goal.
Yeah.
There, he had 3 shots, which Brighton only had 6 collectively as a team. So he had half of them himself. I believe they were all on target as well. So look, he's sort of their key player up front. Yeah. For them, I suppose him and Welbeck collectively. So he got the nod for me. But a little bit of I found that a bit of a tough pick, if I'm honest.
Yeah, so did I. Did you see Maupay's goal?
I probably actually not sure if I did
It was
see that one.
I would consider it. It looked a very good goal, but I don't think it's in what he intended to happen. I think he really hit it with his shin, but look, he hit top corner. He'll take it every day. Not diving deep into it. It was a beautiful goal, but I'm not sure that's fully what he intended.
Oh, look, maybe if I'd seen it, maybe my opinion might be a little bit different. But look, his name's on the score sheet as a goal, so it counts as a goal.
Yeah, that's it. Agreed. My pick.
What about yourself?
I picked Raul Jimenez. Well, I love him as a player. I think he's got the whole package for me. I think his ability to run with the ball, his ability as a target man of sorts, is the balance is pretty. I wouldn't say unmatched, but it's right up there. And look, this goal, the goal that he scores against Spurs, wasn't exactly one of his finest, but sort of that pinball second, third chance. But he took the chance well. He chested it down and off the volley. Yeah, I mean, it was a nice goal, but I mean, he never should have been granted that chance. To be fair, Spurs should have disposed of the ball. But look, he caused more trouble than the goal. It was a thorn in Spurs' side, and someone that they really held him accountable.
They really missed him when he was out for that period of time with his head injury.
Yeah, it's really shown.
And absolutely, it's really shown. So good for the Wolves to have him back.
Yeah, absolutely. So that concludes our team of the week for this round. I think we got some good picks in there. It's nice to have a little bit of difference. We seem to get a couple of different players every week. Obviously, some pick themselves, but we find a point of difference here and there.
We do, yeah.
Looking into next week's fixtures, where are we? Who have we got here? All right, starting with the early game, we got West Ham Newcastle. What's your thoughts there?
It's difficult to tip against Newcastle at the moment. Looking for 4 in a row, and that'd be a real big win if they could get past West Ham.
Yeah,
away from home. It's extremely hard to pick. I'm gonna say I wouldn't be surprised with a draw, maybe.
Yeah.
Look, you look at the firepower that Newcastle starting to put together. And they're clearly in some form. Yeah. Confidence would be flowing through the side. So, yeah, it's either a Newcastle win or a draw, personally.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to back the boys in. They're making a 4 from 4. I can see it. It's I'll definitely be tuning in. I think that's going to be a great game. Yeah, look, realistically, it's probably going to be a draw, I think. But I'd love to see them get up, and just for that point, I think I'll back them in, and we'll revisit this next week and see how wrong I was. In the first of the 11 o'clock games for our time zone, Arsenal Brentford. How do you say that?
That's probably quite comfortably got Arsenal written all over it, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, Brentford did the number on them in the first game of the season. 2 completely different sides at this point of the season. So, yeah, it's Arsenal for me, barring some absolute capitulation on their behalf. And I still don't think Eriksen is back and ready to go. Not that I necessarily think he makes huge difference in this particular game, but he would obviously help. But this one's Arsenal's to lose, I think.
Yeah, Arsenal just have too much for Brentford, I think, even with Eriksen. I mean, they've hardly shown a propensity to score, unfortunately. So until they find their shooting boots, and if Ivan Toney, if he's back or not, who knows? I don't know what the situation is there, but yeah, they're missing pretty badly at this point. I think I think he could say whatever he wants at this point. They'll gladly have him back. I think they just
they'd probably be looking looking past an apology at this point and just getting back in the side.
Yeah, just rushing back in. Who cares what you did? Aston Villa, Watford is the next game up. Personally, I see this as a bit of a bounce back game for Aston Villa. Disappointing result against Newcastle. I can see Villa putting a few past Watford here.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Like they wouldn't be impressed with losing 2 on the bounce to relegation sides.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 100% agree. This is a good game for Aston Villa to bounce back.
Yeah,
and probably a one of the worst teams for Watford to be coming across in this particular week anyway.
Yeah, they'll be seething after that, given the form that they are on. To drop points to Newcastle, they'll be eager to show a bit of a fight back. I'd say. We got Brighton, Burnley after that. Burnley haven't been bad, so I can see a bit of a stalemate here. I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, against United they weren't too bad. Obviously, I think it was the draw with them. Really forced Liverpool to I wouldn't say dig deep, but to use a bit of their luck there. I can see a draw. I'd say.
Yeah, I would probably tend to agree with that. Burnley will probably look to come out of their shell a little bit against a team like Brighton. Maybe they can sense an opportunity to get some points. Whether that will cost them or not, we'll obviously find out. But yeah, I would think a draw as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Crystal Palace, Chelsea at Selhurst Park. What are your thoughts on that?
This will be Chelsea's first game in the Premier League for a number of weeks. They obviously didn't play last week. They were off winning other trophies, the Club World Cup. Congratulations to them.
Yep.
So yeah, they'll be looking to start where they left off, at least in that tournament, maybe not in the Premier League, because at the turn of the year, their Premier League form hasn't been great. But to win a trophy, it is a kind of big. That's up for discussion whether the Club World Cup is a big trophy or not. But
yeah, I think the fact you got to win the Champions League to be in it for a European team. I mean, that's but the caliber of competition isn't exactly elite.
Exactly.
It's not what they used to week in, week out.
Yeah, it's not at the standards that you would face even in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So to win the Champions League in order to get into that competition, it almost seems like what's the point?
Yeah, but, it is. It seems like a foregone conclusion generally that the Champions League winner wins that cup, which more often than not happens. So,
exactly. Look, we were celebrating it when Liverpool won the Champions League and followed on and won the Club World Cup. So there was no complaining from us going on here. So we can't talk too much smack about it. But look, I mean, back to Chelsea, they'll probably win this game. Yeah, to be honest, Palace have been good. Slipped up in the last 2 weeks. They're coming against one of the big boys. So yeah, Chelsea will probably continue their form off of the back of the Club World Cup and win probably quite comfortably, to be honest.
Yeah, they really need that too, Chelsea, because they've really started to drop points in the league. So a win here will be much needed to try and keep in the race for that second spot. So I mean, they're really not in the race for first. So they don't want to be dragged into a battle that sees them battling for a Champions League spot either.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really only comes down to maybe 1 or 2 games dropping points, and they're right in that thick of the battle. Yeah, for a number of weeks we were talking about cemented top 3 and a battle for 4th, but all it takes is a couple of results against Chelsea, and it'll become a battle for 3rd and 4th. So
that's it.
It's just as important.
Okay. Liverpool, Norwich. Next up. I think this is where Mo Salah finds his shooting boots again. He's scoring boots. He's on a bit of a dry run if he's ever had one.
If we want to be critical.
Yeah, yeah, by his lofty standards.
Yeah.
And Norwich seem to be a team that Liverpool seem to want to beat up on at any given chance. So 3-0, 4-0 probably for me.
Yeah, it is at Anfield. There's no doubt that the Liverpool players will be disappointed with their performance against Burnley.
Yeah.
So I'll be looking to bounce back and in front of their own fans against another relegation side. They'll probably look to make a statement in that game. Spurs will play. City play Spurs. So look, there's definitely a chance for points drop there. So there's absolutely no room for no margin for error for Liverpool against Norwich. But yeah, that's probably a Liverpool win quite comfortably as well.
Yep. Next up, we have Southampton, Everton. This has got draw written on all over it for me.
Okay.
It's a score draw, I'd say. A score draw.
Okay.
Two teams that have been there or there. Everton have finally just decided to discover some form. Southampton have been there or thereabouts. Yeah, this feels like 2-2 to me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I think I like it. I might have just in my head there been getting a little bit too carried away with the one win Everton had. I did say last pod that I'm not going to back them as confidently as I had been.
Yeah,
and then they get that result they did, but you've got to look at Southampton on the same page, and they've been good. So yeah, I think a draw is probably a predicted response. What's
predictable
what for? It's predictable that it's probably going to be a draw. Otherwise, maybe a win either side by a goal, no more.
Yeah, no, I think it's got a close game written all over it for me.
Yeah.
Looking into Sunday's games, we've got what we just talked about before, the City Spurs at the Etihad. It's a danger game. I mean, we have talked about Spurs and their inability to really click under Conte, but if it does click, they can obviously give City some problems.
They definitely can. It's definitely the marquee fixture of the week. Look, Spurs did the number on City start of the season. It was just the one goal, but I feel like this is the type of game where Conte really steps up as a manager and shows his class, because he's going toe to toe with one of the best, if not the best, in the Premier League. So he's really got to make him click. Likewise, the players obviously on the pitch have to do it as well. But it's one of those. Spurs have kind of been that sort of bogey side for Man City in recent years, be it in the Premier League and in the Champions League as well.
Yeah, definitely.
They've not been shy to take it to them and take it that one step further and beat them. So, yeah, look, on the back of that, I'm still going to say a City win, but there's always that chance there with Spurs, I feel, against City, at least anyway.
Yeah, they've definitely got the talent at their disposal. So, who knows? It'll be a really, really good game to watch, for sure.
It will be.
The final game on Sunday, Leeds versus Manchester United, at Ellen Road. What are your thoughts on this? It's hard for me to get a read on, I think.
It is, but I think I'm going to say United. I mean, one win can do wonders for a side. And we're talking Ronaldo back on the score sheet. Like, don't get me wrong, United weren't great in that game against Brighton this morning, but a win's a win. So you've got Ronaldo back on the score sheet. Bruno's back on the score sheet. Maybe a little bit of change of personnel around the pitch in certain areas. There's no denying United have a better squad than Leeds.
Yeah.
But again, could Leeds be that bogey side for Manchester United and steal something? It's going to be from my books. It's a Man United win, or it's a goalless draw, or a 1-1 draw, or something like that.
Yeah,
it doesn't see goals flying in everywhere.
No, it doesn't seem to have the glamour that Leeds United has. Leeds Manchester United, sorry, in the past, the storied rivalry.
Yeah,
I don't think we're adding another thrilling chapter to that story this week. Two teams that are just struggling to really find some consistency, and I think you're right. It could be the goals aren't going to be flying in, and we may just, whoever wins, it'll probably be by the thinnest of margins.
Yeah.
One more game for this match week before we get into some midweek games, which we'll cover in the next podcast. We have Wolves versus Leicester at the Molineux. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm just going to say a Wolves win.
Yeah.
Leicester, they haven't done enough for me to warrant tipping them in any sense. And look, you're probably looking at potentially two of the informed goalkeepers in the league at the moment. Schmeichel, we didn't have in that discussion that we had a little bit earlier, but thinking about it now, he's certainly saved Leicester's bacon a bit more than maybe what we initially thought.
Yeah.
So it'll be an interesting matchup between the two of those. I can see plenty of shots. I can see plenty of saves on both ends.
Yep.
But yeah, I think a Wolves win, personally.
Yeah, I mean, we love to bang on about how good Wolves are defensively, and they seem to be taking their chances attacking wise. So yeah, I think you're right. Wolves for the win there.
Yeah,
agreed. So that wraps up the reviews for this match week. We will talk a little bit about the Champions League as well. It's not something that we've touched on in this podcast yet, but we are into the round of 16. It is now, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So we at the time of recording, we have had two games played. This morning in PSG versus Real Madrid, and we also had Sporting Lisbon against Manchester City. PSG, Mbappe, PSG absolutely dominated that game. They deserved a lot more out of that. But I mean, at the end of the day, walking away with a 1-0 win, probably not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, look, it's. I feel like obviously scoring goals wins you games, and that's important. But at a home game perspective, you would tend to look to score a lot more than just the one. This year, I'm not sure if you're aware, but they have scrapped the away goal rule. So a 1-0 win is a 1-0 win.
Yeah.
You know, if it goes through as a 0-0 draw, when in the reverse fixture, then it's PSG go through by the goal. So yeah, away goals will certainly not be a factor anymore, and it could make for a few interesting games.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, PSG dominated that game. Absolutely, could have been 2. Messi had a penalty saved.
Yeah.
Probably the brilliance of Mbappe wins him that game. He had more than just the goal scoring chance. He really terrified the Real Madrid defense.
Yep.
And look, if he is going to be there next year at Real Madrid, I mean, maybe he's just given him a little bit of a taste of what's to come and what to expect. He said, "This is what I'm about, so get used to it because I'll be on the other side of the fence shortly." So
it's something of an audition, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I reckon Madrid would have liked what they'd seen too, as much as it's going to irk them that they lost that game. They're definitely going to be pretty pleased with that. if you want to find a good way to twist that for Madrid.
Mm.
The other game, geez, like we touched on it earlier, how City just want to steamroll everyone and anyone and everyone. They've done it again, 5-0. Just are they the favourites?
It's hard to not put them as favourites.
Yeah.
Look, they're the juggernauts of English football. Obviously, they haven't yet proved themselves at European level, the same as Liverpool and Chelsea, who have both won it since, or in the last few years anyway. But if it's a chance for City to win it, it needs to be this year.
Yeah,
I think. Look, Pep doesn't. Pep's there to win. It's the only trophy that Pep hasn't won under City anyway.
Yeah,
is the Champions League. So it's the one that he's looking for. He's won the Champions League trophy at all the other clubs he's been at, probably multiple times as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would put them up there as favourites, probably alongside. Trying to put the bias behind it, but honestly, Liverpool.
Yeah,
they've really steamrolled the competition so far.
Yeah,
they were placed in the group of death in air quotes, and they took the piss out of it. Really,
they did. Yeah, I mean, 6 out of 6, full points.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can look at PSG as a potential favourite, but as stacked as their side is, they've not impressed me too much.
No.
Even in Ligue 1, they've not been great.
No,
the superstars haven't quite clicked as I suppose a lot of people probably thought they would. So
yeah,
I'd say the two favourites at the moment would be City and Liverpool.
Yeah,
personally,
that'd be a huge game to watch, in my opinion. And I mean, yeah, Liverpool have that pedigree there. They've done it before. There's 75% of that squad has done it.
Yeah,
probably even more. Really, I mean, chuck guys like Diaz and yeah, I mean, there isn't. Jota is a new one.
Yeah,
but yeah, they know how to do it. They've been there before.
Absolutely.
Looking ahead to tomorrow morning's games, we've obviously got Inter v Liverpool, and we've got Salzburg v Bayern. Let's touch on Bayern first. Salzburg. Surely Bayern, they rack up a score. They rack up a cricket score here.
Yeah, the tie could be over in the first leg.
Yeah,
it could be just like the City Sporting game. It could all be over. Bayern are just a touch of class, not even a touch of class, more like a punch of class above.
Yeah,
Salzburg. They're way above. So yeah, that's probably a pretty easy one to read, and a real easy game from Bayern's perspective, I suppose.
Yeah,
they'll just be looking to get it done and see who they get in the next leg. But look, anything can happen. It's the Champions League. We've seen crazy stuff happen before. So
that's it. Agreed. The big tie, as far as we're concerned, into Liverpool. I think it's been 14 years I read today since Liverpool played into the San Siro. So it's been a long time, and obviously Liverpool were a vastly different team back then. Inter as well, but two teams are Inter, I think, are second in Serie A, maybe first, depending on weekend's results. I know that in AC Milan and Inter Milan are really duking it out there, along with Napoli.
I've just had a look. Inter are currently sitting in second, 1 point behind their rivals. They have a game in hand, so
yeah, I thought so. Yeah, yeah. So look, two teams that are flying high. Liverpool as well. It's a tough game.
It's a real tough game. I think it'll be a cracker. Really.
Yeah.
I know Inter are missing. They'll be missing Nicola Barella.
I
believe he's suspended for both games.
He is.
Which is a big miss.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage for Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean he was linked with Liverpool at one stage. I don't know if that's still the case, but he's pivotal in the middle of the park for Inter. So they've got danger all over the pitch. They've lost Lukaku. They've brought in Edin Dzeko, who's just is Edin Dzeko. He's class. He does.
Yeah.
He gets the job done no matter where he is. Really,
He's still scoring goals. Yeah,
he is absolutely. So, and he didn't cost them 100 million. So,
yep,
a win-win for them. But they've still held on to Martinez, who seems to play really well next to a target man.
Yep,
he feeds off it real well. So it'll be interesting to see how Inter come at Liverpool and how Liverpool deal with it. Obviously, the Liverpool style of play in possession is extremely high, but if Inter tend to sort of keep two up, maybe that could be a way to sort of counter it.
Yeah,
maybe forced to keep one of Liverpool's fullbacks back, but it's a tough one to call. Being away at the San Siro, you've got to give a little bit of an edge to Inter. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 0-0 draw or even just a 1-1 draw, just a draw in general.
Yeah,
and then Liverpool look to take it the reverse
at
fixture
Anfield.
at Anfield, and that's where they sort of step it up a notch.
Yep. No, I tend to agree with you there. I think a draw would be a fitting result there. Given where the teams are at, the San Siro, it's intimidating. It's a ground, especially for a lot of these guys who haven't been there before. It's gonna be a totally new experience for them.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of these guys have been there, done that, but I think the San Siro is, for a lot of footballers, is something different. It's quite a unique experience from all accounts. And look, with Skriniar and De Vrij at the back there, I mean they've got no shortage of defensive stocks. They're going to be a tough ass to break down.
They have a real strong spine.
Yeah,
going from including the goalkeeper and the centre backs.
Handanovic,
right down the middle. Yeah. So Brozovic is going to have his work cut out for him without Barella next to him.
Yeah.
So, from an Inter's perspective, Inter would obviously prefer to win the game. That's a no-brainer. But to go into the second leg at Anfield with the tie in the balance still, that wouldn't bat well for them. We've all seen Anfield on a European night.
Yeah.
It gets up and about.
Yeah.
Liverpool aren't shy to turn around 3-goal deficits at Anfield. So, Inter will be looking to win, obviously.
Yeah. They
won't want to go into that fixture, into the reverse fixture, either behind. They certainly won't want to be behind. But they wouldn't. I can't imagine they would want to be level either. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, Inter won't want to be
for them.
Yeah. Inter got to come out looking to score. There's no point sitting back because, like you said, Anfield. It's just a different beast on a European night. So, they're hard to beat. The Reds in that situation.
Definitely.
Yep. Look, I think that'll wrap it up for us today. We've covered a fair bit. Premier League, Champions League. Would like to hear your thoughts. Your thoughts on our team of the week. Your thoughts on our predictions. So, leave your comments and where this is posted on all our socials. Twitter, YouTube, everywhere, Facebook. Leave your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. It's been great chatting, mate.
It has, as always.
Pleasure. Well, we will be back next week with another PL/Champions League podcast. So until then, goodbye, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks, everyone.